Hello, Anthony.
Hello, Claudine.
We're here today talking about the tax deductibility of medical expenses.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was a thing, I'll be honest.
You know why? Yeah, there is. It isn't a thing, but it's one of the best things around.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It can be really helpful. You know, our daughter my daughter with Kevin.
Yeah, right.
She
That would be news.
fell and hurt her knee.
This is a hell of a time to find out.
She fell and hurt her knee and had to get surgery. And watching those medical bills roll in for like the MRI and, you know, even with insurance, it's like every time we got a medical bill, when I went to the mailbox, my heart would just sort of flutter. So I can't imagine, let's say you're dealing with cancer or you have a sick child or sick parents that you're caring for. It can probably feel pretty overwhelming. So this is really good information.
Yeah. This is really one of the IRS is pretty rough all around, and they get bugs up their ass about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And then there's sort of this big one that's sort of hiding in plain sight that could really be one of the best deductions around. There's many benefits to it. Unlike other deductions, it doesn't phase out. Mm-hmm. There's some deductions where, hey, your income went up too much, so you don't need this deduction anymore. They limit you on that. And also when you hit up against the alternative minimum tax, like, no, that deduction doesn't count. Mm-hmm. This one remains. There it is. This is shining, and it's so vast. It's so all-encompassing where people, and I think this is where people get thrown off by it, because there's a minimum. Mm-hmm. You have to spend a minimum of 10% of your adjusted gross income. Yep. Well, now I think that sentence right there, just that, it's very easy to lose someone's attention there. Adjusted gross income. Okay, that's the number at the first page. The bottom of the first page is your tax return. Mm-hmm. 10% of that. But if you actually are documenting things, and if you are having these expenses, it's quite easy to get to that. I mean, it really is. The downside is it is quite easy, and the upside is it is quite easy to get up to that.
And what you can even include is dental cleanings, medical checkups. So if you get every bill for everything you get done, you don't realize it.
And I think most people have the ability to check their debit card, their credit card to see, okay, here it is, add it up. Yeah. And don't miss out. And but you don't want to just sort of be reacting. I think that might be the mistake a lot of people do. And I think this is the mistake a lot of people do, is they say, oh my God, my taxes are so high, let me find something. Mm-hmm. And they don't kind of come up with a plan. They don't come up with a strategy to lower it, and they just sort of react. And these are the cases where that they always go to tax court, or they don't always, they get to tax court, and the facts favor the IRS because you didn't build your case ahead of time.
Be proactive.
You're reacting and you don't have it. And the IRS loves having these cases on the record because now that makes it look like these aren't deductible. The thing you have to remember is the good cases aren't going to be published because the IRS says, oh, we're going to lose this one. We don't want to have bad law. So tax court petitions generally favor the IRS, but there's most of the other cases favor the taxpayer. That's why you don't see them.
Mm-hmm. Now, there are specific requirements. You mentioned that it's 10% of your AGI. 65 plus, right now it's 7.5% if you or your spouse is 65 or older, but they are raising that as of 2017 to 10%. So this is the last year they can take advantage of that. Now, they're saying medical care expenses include payments for diagnosis, cure, mitigation, treatment, or prevention of disease, or payments for treatments affecting any structure or function of the body.
Wow.
Right. That's pretty all-encompassing.
That could really mean mostly everything. And there's one simple test, though, right? Mm-hmm. There's one simple test to determine whether or not you would be allowed as a deductible. And what's that test, Claudine?
Do you have a note from your doctor?
There you go, right?
That's all you need.
But it's not just doctors.
No.
It's and by the way, the 10% of your AGI, once you go over that, the whole deduction triggers. So it's not just the amount over 10%, but once you hit that, everything triggers, and now the entire deduction comes in.
Gotcha.
And this, in my years of doing audits, I would say this is one of the least contested, least taken advantage of deductions around, where it could easily be the biggest. Mm-hmm. Where it really should be the number one deduction people are taking if they just sort of came up with things and they thought about what really is important in their life. And everybody tries. I mean, I think nearly everybody tries to be a bit healthier. Yeah. And it's just going the extra step to properly document.
Now, the IRS surprised me because they include fees for doctors, dentists, surgeons, chiropractors, psychiatrists and psychologists, and non-traditional medical practitioners like acupuncture.
Right. And I think my spiritual healer, Shirley, would would qualify for that. I just haven't. I don't think I've hit the 10% yet myself because I'm so healthy, or I haven't thought about things correctly because there is something that I've been thinking about. Oh, I've been thinking about this one for a while.
Okay.
I've been working out for the past year. If you haven't noticed, lost a little bit of weight. I might be squatting nearly as much as you do. I'm about 3 pounds short. I'm getting up to 285.
Goals.
And this is serious. Claudine does squat 285.
I have.
You
once.
have once.
Yes. That was
getting there.
Yes.
But, I feel like my lower back, I was doing some deadlifts this weekend. Maybe it wasn't because I was doing straight leg deadlifts. But I noticed a little pain in my back, and I noticed that when I'm playing hockey, when I'm doing something, my lower back really, no matter how much I'm trying, just sort of gets agitated, aggravated. I've tried, I have a jacuzzi at home, and that's good for your passive recovery. But really what I'm needing is some sort of active recovery. So there's this thing called endless pools. Oh my Lord, these are wonderful. And I love them. Now, your cost on them, for the one I'm looking at, about $30,000 and, kind of getting it all set up correctly, be a little bit more so somewhere around $45,000. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a lot of money. But if I was able to go to my doctor to say, hey, look, let me tell you what's going on. I'm getting healthy, trying to get there, still having these back problems. Is there anything, let me tell you what I'm doing. Doing hockey, lifting, riding my bike, a little bit of running. Anything else you can think of that might help me balance?
Maybe swimming?
Go with this, like a swimming sort of
type of thing?
I just kind of like swimming through air, but with a little more resistance. Is there anything like that you can think of? Yeah, so oh yes, you should be swimming. And okay, that basically does it.
Yeah.
And now the thing is that when you're buying a pool like this, one of the critical things is it can't be something that adds to value of your house.
Okay.
Can't be a permanent thing, but these pools don't because you can take them with you.
Oh.
So if it's something that is you could take with you, oh yes, it's deductible. But if it's something that improves your house, whoa, you got a problem. You would have to find some other way to classify that, and sometimes with handicap accessibility things, it might come in there as a different type of deduction.
That actually, surprisingly, is included. So special equipment installed in a home or improvements, if the main purpose is medical care.
Right.
So if you install ramps or widen doors.
To get into my endless pool.
Yes.
But maybe the whole cabana near it.
Yes, that may not.
The medical cabana? Right? No? Probably not that.
No,
probably not. I
not
probably won't go that far. But at least I think the endless pool, getting that doctor's note is, wow. I mean, doctor's notes, they really help out in school. Like, okay, all set. And here with the IRS, doctors are really the most powerful people around.
Some other things that are included that sort of surprised me, besides the acupuncture, smoking cessation programs. Now, over-the-counter things like, patches and gums aren't included. Insulin and payment for drugs that require a prescription, but I did check to see if medical marijuana is included. Alas, it is not. Even if it's legal in your state.
Even if you have like 10 notes from a doctor?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, man.
So false teeth, reading or prescription glasses, contact lenses, hearing aids, crutches, wheelchairs, transportation that is essential to medical care that qualifies as medical expenses.
Yeah.
Like fare for a taxi or bus, gas and oil, tolls, parking. But didn't we have a case where this was a little difficult to write off?
It wasn't a write-off. We were trying to prove that our client had legitimate expenses that made it so that she couldn't afford to pay anything back to the IRS. And one of her biggest expenses every month was a taxi fare. She was living in Manchester, Connecticut, going to Hartford. No other way to really get to the doctor. And so, every month she'd be paid.
For her cancer treatment, correct?
Her cancer treatment, yeah. $600 a month or so, $400 to $600 a month. And the IRS says, no. And we're saying, but it's an allowable, if it's an allowable deduction.
Should
it not be somewhat allowable? And so that was one we just had to fight tooth and nail. We ended up prevailing, but it shouldn't require super lawyer to win that one, and
right?
it did. That
Right.
sort of surprised me that we had to really go all out, like we were arguing the case of the century, where it was pretty clear cut.
So
no, seriously, she needs the chemotherapy. That's kind of that.
Might be saving a life.
It's a known treatment for cancer. It's known.
Get a doctor's note for that.
Yeah.
Some things that aren't covered. So cosmetic surgery. Anything you want to do? I know. It's a shame.
But I don't,
Electrolysis?
cosmetic surgery. But I mean, if we think about that, because, we there's a lot of people getting different types of surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they could get a doctor's note for something. I do wonder, that I would feel, you know what, doc, I'd feel a lot better about myself if I had big boobs.
Mm-hmm.
I've
got body dysmorphic disorder.
And the only way to fix it is not on the inside,
No.
but like actually make me look that way. And I think that will cure it. And I think you'll be able to get a doctor to be able to write that for you.
Yep. Unfortunately, medicines and drugs from other countries. If you happen to find a website.
Wow. Wait a second. So if you find a deal, so if you don't pay so because you're trying to save money, like, okay, let me go to Canada, see if I can get this prescription a little cheaper. No. Now you can't. That is, wow. They're really in. It's like, okay, so who is the lobby behind this deduction? I think there's some thumbprints all over this. Doctors from out of the country, drugs out of the country. No, not so much.
Right.
But as long as it's sort of here. Yeah, we'll let it go.
Not medical marijuana. Health coverage tax credit and non-prescription drugs also not included.
That's sort of non-prescription drugs seems weird.
Yeah, like what about an allergy medicine? If you really suffer from seasonal allergies, that sucks.
Well, can you get a prescription for something that doesn't require a prescription?
Can you get a
You're like, well,
doctor's
get me a
note?
note to say I need this. And I think that might work, even though it is, oh boy, I'm sure there's a tax court case on that. Probably where somebody didn't get the note, though. That was the issue.
And what we'll do is we'll put a link below the video with the very specific information from the IRS and what's included and what's not to make sure, if you are going to, like you said, you want to be proactive.
Yes.
There's also a pre-qualifier tool that I sort of fooled around with. Just be, I'd say careful if you're using that, because I put in all my information about Faith's surgery and it said that it qualified. I think it's assuming that I'm already at 10% because it never asked income or cost of expenses.
Right. That's what it does. And I would say this is really my advice. I mean, I get a lot of emails and calls during the typical tax times. Anthony, find me some deductions on this. And it's like, okay, that's not really. It was like you're asking me to react to what you've already done. There's nothing I can really do. There's not. Don't expect me to come in with a magic wand and say, oh, here, we'll just erase those taxes here. Magic wand. There you go. Here's your refund. And I'm like, where are the credits? What do I have? Well, it doesn't work like that. You got to plan ahead. And this is really, whenever you're looking at a large tax bill to say, geez, I got to do something different. I got to think about something. This is really the thing, a long-term strategy, and this is, the thing is this is usually, a lot of people are spending a fortune in medical expenses. When you really think about what it is, it is a hidden expense. I mean, again, it's just really one of the most wonderful ones hiding in plain sight. You got to you got to get a doctor's note and you got to use it.
Yes. And if you need assistance, don't hesitate to contact us at 888-727-8796. You can also email us, info@irsmedic.com. You can like and comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome tax updates. We thank you for watching. IRSMedic, the law offices of Parent & Parent, LLP. Real tax attorneys for tough tax problems.